Hey everyone, it's Tastical, and today I'm going to be doing a beginner duct tape wallet tutorial. This is just going to be a plain bifold with 3 card pockets and an ID, and this will be a lot more easier and understandable because it's for beginners. I'll also give you guys tips along the way, and yeah, so the things you're going to be needing are a cutting board. I got this one. You can get pretty much all the materials at Walmart for a really good price. I'll tell you the prices. So I got this Fiskars cutting board for only, I think, $10, and it's 18 inches long, and it's double-sided, so you could actually work on 2 different crafts, or if one side gets kind of worn out, you can use the other side. But sometimes I have 2 crafts that I'm making, so I just flip it over, and so then I could just work on the other side. And it's really thin too, so that's really cool. And then I have an X-Acto knife. This is really important. You could use a pair of scissors, but I definitely recommend you use an X-Acto knife. If you don't have one, you can ask me and I can make a scissor one, because I've never made one out of just scissors, so I can try that. But an X-Acto knife right here. I got mine from Michael's for around $10. I recommend that you get one at Walmart, which costs $5. And if yours is kind of worn out, then you can just buy a pack of blades and just replace the blades. A pair of scissors. Try to get, well, I'm using Fiskars. You can use Westcott, anyone that's non-stick. And if they do have a lot of gunk from the last time you used it, then you can rub it with some nail polish remover to take away some of the sticky stuff. And I do that all the time. If I make wallets a lot, then I like to clean them. Okay, then you want duct tape. This you can also get at Walmart. Today's colors will be this Halloween themed zigzag and purple. I usually like to use a pattern in solid. You can use 2 solids, you can use 2 patterns, you can use 1 pattern, you can use 1 solid, anything you really want to. But this is kind of what I like to do. I like to get a pattern. I find 1 color and then use that as my solid. But really whatever you want to. And then if you want to, you can get some gray tape or just any other extra tape that you have to use to kind of save tape. In this tutorial you won't be seeing the gray at all, so you don't only have to worry about the color being seen in the billfold or anything. But mostly these are my colors I'm going to be using today. And then lastly is a ruler. Not lastly, sorry. One of the other things that you might want to have is a ruler. You can go for any ruler will get shavings, because what happens is that when you run your X-Acto knife along this to trim stuff, it will kind of shave off a little bit of stuff. My plastic one here gets shaved off a lot, and that's really bad because it kind of gets cut and it doesn't make a straight line anymore. So I recommend you go for something like this. This one is wood with a little metal piece right there, so I recommend this. Even though the metal still does chip, I just recommend that this is kind of a little bit better because it's a little bit more stronger on the metal side. So try to go for that. Rubber will definitely get sliced, but yeah. And then lastly, you want an ID slot plastic. This is from a transparency film. You can use top loaders. I have 3 videos of ID plastic, which I'll put in the link below for you to see if you kind of don't have any ID plastic. I remember that was a huge problem for me when I started making wallets, is that I couldn't find any plastic. So try to find something around your house. But I just have a little piece of plastic here, and that's all the materials we'll need, so let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is cut 2 strips of tape that are 8 inches long, and this is going to be on the inside of our billfold piece. Now what you want to do is just line that one piece on your cutting board, then get the other piece and overlap it on top of that one to make it 3 1/4 inches tall. You can make yours 3 inches, but I like to make mine 3 1/4. And now I'm going to put that aside, and that one's a new roll, so I had to open it up. Then what you want to do is cut 2 more strips of tape that are 8 inches long, and I'm using my pattern color here. And what you basically want to do is cover up the sticky by lining up the bottoms and let it fall. And I made a little mistake here, so I just quickly ripped it off. You just want to line on the bottoms and just let it fall and then press out the air. And do the same thing, and you should get a trim on the top and fold it over. Your piece should look like this, and then you just want to fold it in half and crease it so it has a little crease and it should be able to open and close. I'm taking my gray tape now and I'm going to cut the hidden pockets. I just cut off a little extra because it was really wrinkly, but I just am now cutting 4 strips of tape that are 3 3/4 inches long of my inside color. You won't see this at all, that's why I used gray. And then you also want to cut 4 strips that are 3 3/4 inches long of your outside color. So to make the hidden pockets, you're going to get 1 strip of the inside piece and overlap it over the other one to make it 3 1/4 inches tall. And then just like you made the billfold piece, you're going to get the other strips and just line up the bottoms and place it on. And instead of folding the trim on the top over, you want to fold it onto the billfold piece here. And you're going to make sure that the trim folds onto the trim, like that. And you're going to do the same thing for the other one. Now to make the card pockets, you're going to cut a long strip of your inside color tape, and I'm using the hidden pocket as a guide, but you want to cut 3 strips because we're making 3 pockets here, and they have to be 3 3/4 inches long. And you also want to cut 3 of the same size pieces of your pattern, and I'm also again using the hidden pocket as a guide, which will help you cut them. And I forgot to cut another strip for some reason, but just make sure you cut 3 of each, and then I'm just going to line up the bottoms, let it fall, and that's how you make 1 card pocket, and you want to do the same thing to the rest. Now we're going to cut 2 strips of tape that are 3 3/4 inches long for our trim piece, and I'm using purple, and I just cut that in half, and it doesn't have to be even. And one way to trim your pocket is line your card on the 1/4 inch line or mark, and then just line up the piece and fold it over. It's kind of confusing, but another way to do it is to get your ruler and just place it on, and this way is actually kind of hard for me, but maybe it's just because of the ruler I chose. And then you just want to like place it on there and then fold it over, and just do them however you feel like is easier for you. I found my way a little bit easier, but it does take a lot of practice. Now I'm going to line up my card, and it's about a little bit less than ½ an inch to the top, and then I'm getting my last trim piece, and I'm just going to use that to place that card on, like so. And then I'm going to get my other 2 pieces and just place it on there so I know where they're going to go. And then I'm going to cut 2 strips of tape that are 3 3/4 inches long of our card pocket color, and this is going to make the pockets look a little bit more nicer, so I'm just going to use that to place it on. And I did have a lot of difficulties because my hand kept on like flicking it right when I was just like about to go down, so just make sure it's straight. And then I do the very same thing to the other piece. And this is just going to make sure that the ID has a nice background. And now I'm getting my purple tape or my trim tape and trimming the ID by just cutting a huge piece, finding the straight side of my ID, and make sure that it's 1/4 of an inch. Place that there, and I make sure that I don't cut too much. So I'm going to cut a little bit and then fold it over, and then I'm going to place it onto my wallet. And I found that the ID was a little too tall, so I had to move the other piece just a little bit and a little bit up, and then I placed that piece back on. And that was the one that I had troubles with, so I had to trouble with it again. And then what I did was I got my pattern tape and I cut a strip of tape that's 1 1/4. And sorry, 3 1/4, and then I just trimmed the side and folded it over, and you want to make sure it's even. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. You're just going to overlap it about 1/4 of an inch, like that, and then you're just going to fold it on the inside of the hidden pocket, like so. And like I said, make sure that it's as even as possible. Then to make our last billfold piece, we're going to cut 2 strips of 8-inch tape that is 3 1/4 inches tall of our inside collar here. And then I'm going to put that aside and take my pattern color and cutting 18 inches, which will make 2 9-inch pieces. And to make life easy, you don't have to line it up, the design, or if you're not doing a design, then you don't have to worry about it. But I'm going to take 1 strip, and I'm going to place that little sheet into sort of like a rectangular shape on my cutting board, so that when I place the sticky over, it'll make stickiness on all 4 sides. And my design actually lined up, surprisingly. And then what you want to do is cut corners on all 4 sides, like so. And then get the top piece and just fold over the trim. And I'm going to use my ruler to trim the sides. Lastly, I place my little piece, my billfold piece, onto the other piece and just fold over the stickiness like that. And I cut slits where the hidden pockets were closed and the card pockets on the tops. And I opened up all the pockets and the hidden pockets, and that's your wallet. It's super duper thin, and it has 3 card pockets, an ID, 2 hiddens, and a billfold.